I'm pretty excited to have Bridget doing this because I think Bridget is eventually one of the most famous people that you will have known. I think she's incredibly talented, and she's the kind of person that makes me wonder if I was that committed to something that I loved at that age, what I would be doing right now. I think I'd still be standing right here, but otherwise, what would I be doing right now? Because she's very young and she's incredibly talented and most importantly, very committed to doing the thing that she does, which is photography. And she's come up with a really, really good idea I'm excited about. So Bridget is a videographer and photographer. She spends most days as a videographer and content marketer at Flywheel, and works as a freelancer shooting photos of concerts, weddings, engagements, and whatever else people want her to point a camera at. So please welcome Bridget McQuillan.
Hi everyone, I'm Bridget McQuillan. I'm a photographer and videographer, like Joe said. I decided to do the story of Home Alone from the perspective of Kevin McAllister's Instagram account. I'm still fairly convinced that Home Alone couldn't have taken place today because there's no way Kevin's family would have gotten through O'Hare security in 45 minutes. But pretending that they did, here's what would have happened. So Home Alone 2014 begins with the McAllister family. 8-year-old Kevin just wants to watch movies with the adults and eat cheese pizza. Everyone else just wants him to pack his suitcase and get out of the way. Kevin turns to social media to amplify his suitcase packing woes and, of course, see if anyone can tell him how it's done. At dinner, when all the cheese pizza gets eaten by Kevin's older brother, Buzz, Kevin takes a quick second to Instagram the gross pizza before tackling Buzz and pissing off everyone in the family. Uncle Frank, who is totally hip in 2014 and has an Instagram account, chooses to insult him both verbally and in social media land. The next morning, when Kevin wakes up, he finds his house completely empty. He searches high and low, consults Instagram to make sure none of his fellow 8-year-old followers know where his family is, and finally concludes that yes, he made his family disappear. And then he slides down the stairs. Kevin's mother, who has downloaded Instagram from Paris, is not exactly pleased. Like any 8-year-old would have done, Kevin spends the next couple of days doing everything he can't do around the adults. He eats 5 bowls of ice cream, he binge watches Netflix, he plays 7 hours of Xbox straight, he raids his brother's room, and he slides down the stairs again. Kevin also acts as an adult around the house. He does laundry, he goes to the store, he orders an extra large cheese pizza all for himself. But then he starts to notice some weirdos creeping around his house. He shares a photo of the creeps to his friends, and soon after realizes that it might be a good idea for him to make them think he's not at home alone. He crowdsources some giant mannequins and then throws a fake party. Upon realizing that one of the creepy dudes happens to be both a robber and the nice policeman who stopped by his house, Kevin decides it's time to do some real planning and protect his home. He Instagrams his battle plans, obviously not realizing that the bad guys are also super hip and have Instagram accounts, and prepares his house for battle. The web bandits go through the treachery of Kevin's giant trap of a house until they finally outsmart him and capture him. Old Man Marley, who just might be the most hip old man ever and has been following Kevin's Instagram the entire time, saves Kevin at the last minute and sends all of the bad guys to jail. After realizing that he kind of maybe does miss his family, Kevin posts a hashtag Throwback Thursday asking his family to please come back and spend Christmas with him. On Christmas morning, they return. Kevin Snapchats a selfie of himself and posts a nice Christmas tree on Instagram. So now onto my process for this entire thing. Home Alone was kind of my childhood movie when I was a kid. Me and my siblings watched it all the time. So immediately my first thought was to recreate some of my favorite scenes from the movie and use the house that I grew up in, which is the house my mom and my little brother still live in West Omaha. And my first thought was to use my little brother as Kevin, but my brother is 15 and also not blonde. He still feels 8 years old to me, but he's definitely not. And I realized I'd have to get a lot of people involved to set the scene. I'd have to get costumes and bring a lot of other things in, and it would probably end up being kind of boring recreating all of the scenes. So I tried to think about how I could use photography with a little bit of a twist. Instagram is a pretty big part of my life as a photographer. It helps me kind of push me out of my comfort zone by taking pictures of everyday things and making them interesting. So I thought that if Kevin had an Instagram in Home Alone, it would have made the story quite a bit different. Obviously, if social media were involved in every TV show or movie these days, there wouldn't be much mystery behind things, so it wouldn't really work out. But if it happened in real life, Kevin would have been all over social media. He would be like live tweeting his pizza delivering process. So I created a real Instagram account for Kevin, which I'll talk more about later. It still exists. As far as I'm concerned, there's no parody Instagram account of Kevin McAllister, so I think I have the first one. I uploaded all of the pictures to his account in order of how they happened. And I used my mom's house for the setting still. It's a pretty good suburban house for everything. I included the rules by using the McAllister home, which was actually pretty much in every single photo, but it was definitely in photo number 4. And then Harry and Marv in number 7, which I used my little brother and his friend dressed up as hoodlums. And then Kevin is kind of in the 10th one. I also tried to use other characters of the story's Instagram accounts to kind of push the story forward. So this slide's a good example. Uncle Frank and Kevin have this actual conversation in the movie, and then there's also a shout out to Macaulay Culkin's pizza band that exists now. And then I also tried to kind of recreate the things that Kevin did in the movie. I used the real picture of Buzz's girlfriend because that was something I didn't feel like I could actually recreate. But I redrew his map and found a really awesome sled one of my coworkers let me borrow for the stairs and all of that. So if you'd like to follow Kevin's Instagram, he's at KevCallister. All of the photos from this presentation are there, and there's a few extra fun ones on there, so feel free to follow if you'd like. And that's it.